Um, Good day, every one of you out there. This is my name is Emmanuel ESANGBEDO. This is our second broadcast on YouTube and the entire social media platform. And this is just my, my opinion, my means of, sharing my views, with my friends, with my brothers and sisters, fellow Nigerians, and even those in authority. For a while, we have had a new government in Nigeria, and there's been a lot of talk here and there, and push here and there, which is normal in a democratic setup. And what really caught my attention recently was the Ministerial Nominees presentation at the National Assembly, which was termed the screening of the Ministerial Nominees. I kudos to the president, kudos to Mr. President. The entire nominees that we've seen so far, very qualified nominees, wealth of experience, fat portfolios, wonderful degrees to show for them academically, experiential. They have it. I will applaud the presidency for that selection. Wonderful. But my take here now is on the fundamental flaw that I think should be rectified very soon. I think there was a fundamental flaw from the onset, which was the issue of orientation. I was hoping that Mr. President or the present government would begin to, since they're coming in with a change mantra, would begin to reorientate Nigerians about the direction that they want this government to go, because we are like robots. We have to be programmed. The minds of an individual have to be programmed. The mind of Nigerians ought to have been programmed in a particular direction. Like in 1984, people may not have agreed with some of the policies then, but one thing was clear: there was war against indiscipline. Even every child in school, every child in primary school, even in nursery school, got to understand that there was something happening in Nigeria at that time, which was basically war against indiscipline. And there was the orientation agency or those who were in charge of information then were really disseminating this information correctly, and they were doing a good job at it. So I was expecting, something like that. If there's a policy thrust of this dispensation, I was expecting that, the National Orientation Agency, which people are still getting paid there, people are still working there, they would have, been getting information from the presidency, perhaps from the chief press secretary and those in charge of press and media, to begin to enlighten Nigerians on the direction of this government. But that being said, let's come back to the nomination of the nominees of the ministerial nominees that were before the Senate last week. The fundamental flaw I saw in all of that, nobody's perfect, but they're very good, but there's a fundamental flaw, and that flaw was in the area of the house. Some of them did very well, I won't mention names, but generally we didn't get to hear, how things were going to be done, because we are no longer in the 20th century. This is the 21st century. People are more attentive now to details. People are looking for solutions. People want to hear how it's going to be done. Nobody, it's not enough to make Nigerians, have this quest for leadership, because everybody can be there anyway. But people can be leaders at the level of the community. People can be leaders at the state level. People can be leaders in their homes, on their streets. So I wanted to hear the hows. For example, if one of the nominees talked about, infrastructural development being in place, we know all of that. That if it's in place, jobs will be created. We know all of that. What we will want to hear is, how will these infrastructures be in place as against how it was being done before? Is there a new dimension to it? Is there a new approach we're going to adopt to it? And how we're going to adopt it? How we're going to appraise this process? How can Nigerians, without any press conference, how can Nigerians, even at the remote villages, how will they be able to appraise the success? So there will be milestones given to these plans for them to be able to appraise, and appraisal method is left to them. So from every point, we will meet, development will be coming from the top and from the bottom. And I wanted to hear the issue of the middle class. Are we going to have a re-establishment of middle class in Nigeria like we had in the 70s? And I'm going to have, the middle class Nigerians back in place. And how are we going to bridge the poverty gap between the rich and the poor in Nigeria? These were issues I wanted to hear. If we're going to hire people, if we're going to create jobs for people, for Nigerians, how are we going to do them? If we're going to have an effective an alternative transportation system like we have so many, but are we going to expand what we have? Are we going to reintegrate what we have? Are we going to develop what we have? Are we going to manage what we have? And if we're going to manage what we have, or get new systems involved and engage new ideas and engage new patterns, how are we going to do that? Where are we going to get this concept from, locally or internationally? If we're going to have FDIs, are we going to be able to think about documentations and going through the details so that these FDIs are coming in, don't rip Nigeria off? Because at times FDIs can come, don't be deceived. If an investor is coming into Nigeria to invest, bottom line is profits, please. So don't get carried away by FDIs. They are coming to make profit. Now you as a country should be able to sit with them, look at the books, look at what they're bringing, and make proposals with the intent of the masses of Nigeria benefiting, if not even better than the investors. The investors can have their cash, but the masses, the general people in Nigeria, should be able to get some benefits from such projects. These are issues that I was hoping we could hear the House. I know we have a lot of intelligent men among these nominees and women, but we need to focus more on the House, because this issue of governance in Africa should begin to learn how to deliver to the people. If we have over about 60 million Nigerian youths unemployed, I want to see a plan that I can engage 3 million or 4 million, as was being said, every year in this country. I want to see a plan, a workable plan, so that Nigerians can key in. The issue of database, how can Nigerians key in? The issue of resource control, how are they going to be addressed? The petroleum industry bill, how is it going to be addressed? Are we going to have more committees again like we used to have? Or the conferences we've had over the years, we're going to be referring to their reports so that we reduce costs and then see how the government can get information from there and implement. These are things I think, yeah, they did very well, but I think, more work needs to be done. They still need to pay attention to some of these details. And I will not fail to mention here that the generality of the youth in Nigeria, those between the ages of, I may not be right in my definition of youth, those between the ages of 18 and 49 should begin to prepare for leadership. You see, it's not enough for us to begin to, clamor for leadership in our bedrooms and scream and all of that, in beer parlors, or in churches, or in the market, or in parties. We discuss national issues and we go to bed. No, that's not enough. We must begin to step up our game. In other words, begin to prepare ourselves, begin to develop our minds, begin to engage our minds in resourceful thinking, sound information gathering, preparing ourselves for leadership, because our fathers are really getting old. And you can see a display of some, very, very advanced, numerical age values, and these things are beginning to play into decision making. It may be an oversight. This could be as a result of age, not being in tune with what is going on right now. Because I was hoping I could get stuff on ICT, because if Google and the others are trailblazing and making huge sums of money globally, if in China Chinese ICT firms are beginning to hold grounds, battle for the financial grounds with Apple, there's something about ICT. I was hoping I could hear things about ICT hubs around the country. I was hoping I could hear things about railway connection around the peripherals of Nigeria and in between, cutting through the states of Nigeria. I was hoping to hear all that, how they're going to position the stations, how they're going to position the hubs, to match such arrangements. I was able to hear about all things. We want Apapa to become the glory of, to retain the glory, to regain the glory it had in the 50s, 40s, and even the 60s and 70s. Those people are, they are citizens of Nigeria, but they're going through a lot. The roads are bad, so we are hoping that there will be a crack of the Apapa port, and alternative, transport system will at least aid the issues that are going on there. there are quite a few things, but I think leaders can engage themselves, but primarily our generation, we must begin to prepare ourselves for leadership. Enough of the partying, enough of the grooving, enough of the desire to live in mansions overnight, enough of the quick money pursuits. We need to begin to get down to reality and begin to provide solution to move our nation forward. I will be with you guys again, maybe some other time, but thank you for giving me this attention. I appreciate it. Nigeria first, let's make it that way. Thank you.